it's partially just there's a new version of OBS out. And anytime there's a new version of OBS, it normally has a lot of problems with it, which is why I probably shouldn't have updated it, because updating OBS is normally a bad idea. Because updating OBS means it's gonna stop working. So let me just see here. Okay, why is it not screen capping? Ugh, run in window. Let's see if running in window will let me screen cap it. Okay. No, I want to capture Empire at War, Force of Corruption. Why can I not capture it? Okay. There we go. We got this. We got this by the ass. Okay, there we go, everybody. I think it's working now. I'm sorry that that was really shitty, but it is what it is. Nothing I can do, but I digress. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been wanting to do this for a while, and by a while I mean like 3 or 4 days. We're going to have a Star Wars lore stream. So, like I said, I'm doing this on my laptop now. So, because I'm doing this on my laptop, let me know if the audio balance is okay. Like, if I sound okay, if the game sounds okay, if I need to adjust them. I'm going to have to run this on my cell phone because obviously I only have one. So we're going to do Star Wars lore, and we're going to play some Thrawn's Revenge. So let me just make sure, because this laptop has Smart Switch, so it switches its graphics. Okay, on battery, plugged in, maximum performance. So because it has Smart Switch, sometimes it will just not go to the proper one. Your mic quality is kind of bad. Is that any better for... Oh, wait a minute. Let me see which mic it's using. Because I have 2 mics plugged in. Okay, I have the Snowball plugged in. Okay. Let me just make sure that it's pulling the right mic. Device, I want to use Blue Snowball as the default. Oh, okay, there we go. Does that sound better? Because, okay, so it was defaulting, I think, to my, it was, okay, let me know if the audio is better, just because it was defaulting to my laptop's internal mic, which is obviously bad. So I'll just wait and see if that's okay, and if that's okay, then we'll let this go. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but if this all works out, then I can do some live streams from other parts of my house. Volume too low. Okay, that's always an issue. That's kind of a problem with the Snowball in general, is even on max volume, it's still too quiet. Let me try turning sound suppression on. Okay, is that any better? Is that any louder? I turned off the sound suppression feature. Which, I mean, I guess is kind of nice, but... Or can you put above 100% on... So, does that sound okay now? Okay, there we go. So if audio's good, let's begin. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, haven't heard of this, this is the Thrawn's Revenge mod. So this was kind of a labor of love. The sad fact is we haven't really gotten a good Star Wars strategy game, which is a real shame because it's such a good universe for that. You have so many different eras. You have like the Old Republic era, you have the Cold War era, you have this era, the Imperial Civil War era. There's just so much to go on, and because it's kind of designed to be military fiction anyways, you have all these different ship classes, tactics, strategies, all kinds of stuff, but we've never really gotten a good, dedicated Star Wars strategy game. And this was kind of the closest it came, made by Petroglyph Studios, if I recall, which I believe was the successor to Westwood. Once they dissolved EALA, the remaining personnel went in, so this was made by the Command and Conquer team, if memory serves. So, other than this, and this team has also made a Thrawn's Revenge mod for Sins of a Solar Empire, but that's not very far along. They only have 4 factions, and the factions are incomplete, and a lot of the gameplay features aren't in. But, yeah, so this is Thrawn's Revenge. So, obviously, judging from the name, this takes place during the Imperial Civil War, which Eckhart's Ladder calls it his favorite part of the extended universe, and I would tend to agree. So this is what happened immediately following the collapse of the Empire. So I know a lot about Star Wars lore. There's a friend of mine who knows who he is. He might or might not be watching, but he really got me into... because I've always kind of been into Star Wars lore, but he kind of got me back into it. And all these like good quality Star Wars channels like Eckhart's Ladder, like Star Wars Reading Club, there's the Star Wars Versus, so I kind of got back into it, and it's probably my favorite sci-fi universe. So yeah, this takes place after Endor, so I'm just going to talk a bit about the lore. So we're going to play Operation Shadowhand, because Operation Shadowhand is probably like in my humble opinion, like the coolest name for anything ever. So, Operation Shadowhand took place during the Dark Empire series of comics, which was later made into an audiobook. Okay. Does it? I'm just curious. So, yeah, there's a bunch of scenarios in this game. There's Thrawn. There's the campaigns of Thrawn. There's Dala's campaigns. There's the Paleon's campaigns. This one, obviously, is Operation Shadowhand, so this is the reborn Paleon. So, to start off with, I have the Pentastar alignment, which has joined me. And we also have the Deep Core Warlords. So... Biss. So what wound up happening is after Thrawn's death, and I personally consider my headcanon is that Palpatine had Thrawn assassinated, because otherwise Thrawn's death is too lame, and Thrawn had kind of gotten things set up for Palpatine's return. So after Palpatine died, he had a secret cloning facility on Biss in the Deep Core, and from Biss he had a bunch of more super weapons, and kind of in the aftermath of the Imperial Civil War, he took command, and ironically enough, the only person who could reunite the Empire was the Emperor. So he got most of the warlords and basically all of the remaining Star Dreadnoughts together, and he launched a massive offensive from the Deep Core, and they actually managed to retake Coruscant and a bunch of other stuff. But in typical Palpatine style, he kind of got his fleets repeatedly destroyed. He had built the 2 largest ships in Star Wars history, but they both got blown up because of misuse of Force powers. Palpatine is he's kind of incompetent. He's cool, but he's really incompetent in the lot of attempts he has. So,
despite the setbacks caused by the pathetic warlords, everything is proceeding according to plan. You must act quickly to crush the rebels before they start to believe their worthless gains are amounting to anything.
Okay, so my issue I have here is my 2 kind of groups of forces are divided. The majority of my troops are in the Pentastar alignment, which is in the Outer Rim, and the remainder of them is in the deep core. So I guess that the problem is Palpatine is in the deep core along with a lot of my elite fighters. So I'm going to have to kind of decide what I want to do. Do I want to just launch my offensive from here? Or do I want to try to launch two at the same time? So let's see here. I have some AT-ATs. I have... let me see here. I'm going to load that up. Okay, I have some garrisons, so I can strip the garrison. So long as you kind of have the approaches done, then you should be okay. So like this is an approach, this is an approach, so I'm just going to leave these troops where they are for the moment. There's no real need to strip those. I try to keep it to like maybe one or two approaches if possible. So you can build goal and defense platforms. So I'm going to build some of those just to kind of cover these fronts. Just throw up... Oh, I start off with Corellia? Oh, that's cool. That's actually really useful. So let's see here. That's where Han Solo's from. One of the wealthier core worlds. Okay, so we have the Pentastar alignment. So this is where the vast bulk of my forces are. So I don't really need my... I don't really need all of my planets to have garrisons. Because so long as, like I said, the approaches have garrisons, it doesn't really matter. So I start off with Admiral Kane, who has the Super Star Destroyer. I'm trying to remember what his Super Star Destroyer is called. But one of the things I like about this game is because there's no bullshit in this game, like, I don't know, like a what's it called again? Like a A-Wing crashing into a Death Star. Sorry, an A-Wing crashing into a Super Star Destroyer.
Coming around.
Like, capital ships are actually good in this game, where they're kind of shitty in Star Wars proper. Largely just because...
Enlisting. Training troops.
Of plot devices. Because if you actually had, like, a realistic, and I know it's kind of stretching it to talk about realism in Star Wars, but, like, realistically, an Executor class should just be able to blast through everything that moves.
Building started.
So that's kind of the issue, is the Empire's kind of overpowered just because they should be overpowered. Because they just have the most stuff. So Yaga Minor is a major shipping yard. I think that was the headquarters of Thrawn and Pelion during part of Thrawn's campaigns. So let's see here. I can upgrade that. I have Munilis, the home of the Mun, who are the space Jews. If you guys don't know. Most famously, Darth Plagueis the Wise was a Mun. Darth Plagueis, yeah, was pretty cool. I'll have to talk about Darth Plagueis the Wise at some point. Yeah, the Empire's land is not very good, although you get AT-ATs, which are pretty good, but... So, I have enough, I think, to launch 2 offensives. I need more ground forces. The Empire starts off with really heavy amounts of, naval troops, but not very much in the way of ground troops. So let's see here. I have a couple Imperial 2s. I have a couple Imperial 1s. And do I have any ground force? No, I have no ground forces there.
Heading to destination.
Let's see. Yeah, no ground forces.
Reporting.
So I'm just going to have to strip my garrisons to get a big enough army together.
Navigating to coordinates.
Because winning in space isn't really enough. You have to be able to also have enough troops to win in the ground fights.
On my way.
Or else you can't occupy the planet.
Construction complete.
So I'll recruit some more stormtroopers. Stormtroopers aren't terrible, they're just
beginning construction.
Kind of the irony of the Stormtrooper Corps is they're actually the Empire's elite soldiers. The best soldiers in the Imperial Navy are recruited in... Sorry, the best Imperial Navy troopers are assigned to be Stormtroopers. So they're kind of like the special forces, like the Green Berets or something like that IRL. So they are actually the best of the best. Now the question is, why do they suck?
Reporting.
And the reason why they suck is because the plot demands they suck. Otherwise, they're actually really well equipped. They have really good quality.
Construction
there's
complete.
Imperial Navy troopers, you just don't see them very often. It kind of works a bit like the IRL U.S. Army. Because, like, in the Army, the armed forces, the Army
Building
itself
started.
is
Recruiting soldiers.
mostly for
Recruiting
heavy
troops.
weapons and for holding territory, whereas the Marines are the assault guys. So they always send the Marines in first to kind of beat everything up, and the Army's kind of there for holding ground. At least that's how it's been explained to me by people who have served in both. Okay, so I have a pretty large army there, and a pretty large army there. Let me just see how big my deep core army is. Okay, I have Palpatine. I have... it's not great. Let me see if I can build some more stuff.
Constructing. Reporting.
Okay. Don't worry, guys. There's going to be action. I'm just getting my stuff up and
Building under construction.
It's a grand strategy game, so... let's see, what is that? Vindicator class. I don't have any large shipyards in the deep core, so I'll just... Yeah, I don't have any factories either,
complete.
so I'm going to have to try to capture it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take Kuwait.
Construction
Or is it
complete.
Kuwait? Which is the largest shipyard in the galaxy, and that is where most of the
Enlisting.
kind of
Recruiting.
the famous how would you put it, the famous ships come from. Like Star Destroyers are built there, stuff like that. I need to do more
Reporting.
I need to get more into Halo lore, because Halo lore is actually a lot cooler than I thought it was.
Construction complete.
I really enjoyed the Fall of Reach. The Fall of Reach was actually a really good novel. So I'm going to leave this partially undefended. I guess they took the Galaxy Gun out because the Galaxy Gun is too overpowered. So we're going to attack Kuwait.
Very well.
And then up in north, I guess you can say north, despite this being space, we're going to attack Ithor, and we're going to attack Kurtik. I'm just going to save this. Shadow. Just in case this crashes or something like that. So, let's see here. So, auto-resolve is notoriously awful in this game, so I'm going to have to manually fight most stuff. Okay, so... Actually, I can probably auto-resolve that. Yeah, they don't really have anything that can stand against the Super Star Destroyer. Oh, I only lost Stormtroopers. Okay, that's not bad.
Tactical battle imminent.
Okay, I'll just auto-resolve that. Okay, so auto-resolving isn't going too bad so far.
Invasion commencing.
Okay, so I'm only losing some Stormtroopers.
System conquered.
And Stormtroopers are fairly
Moving
disposable.
Out. Heading out.
So
Tactical battle imminent.
Oh, okay, here we go. We actually have a battle to show you. So this will take care of... Yeah, auto-resolving on land is awful. So we're going to see this space battles for the first time. This is probably the most impressive... Well, this is the real game, basically, the space battles. Because the space battles look amazing in this game. Especially because this is Thrawn's Revenge, so they've really cleaned everything up and made it better. The only issue with this mod is the mod was not designed for Super Star Destroyers. So this is the Eclipse.
I am ready.
And the Eclipse is just too big for in-game. So it's just takes up like half the screen. And it doesn't really function very well, to be honest.
Cruiser reporting.
Let's see here. Okay, I'm just gonna... Yeah, it's a little difficult to control huge ships in this game, so... So we have a couple of frigates. So you have your, what is this? Is that a Carrack? You have a Lancer, which is a screener. Doesn't, yes, the Eclipse does have the super laser. So the Eclipse is the largest ship ever built in Star Wars. Well, it actually has fewer guns than a Executor class. It does have a gravity well generator and a super laser. Yes, that's how crazy Palpatine is. He put a super laser on a Star... Well, actually, there's a couple Star Destroyers with super lasers.
They will be taken care of.
Let's see here. Yep, there we go. We're firing the super laser. And that one-shotted that. So, good job, Palpatine.
That is a great disturbance.
It's only 2/3 as powerful only as the Death Star's laser, so it can't break a planet. It can't destroy a planet. It can just crack its crust.
Come with me.
Yes, you can blow up planets. I just don't want to blow this up because it's cool.
He won't be around much longer.
So, that's Crimson Command. That's one of the
Pursuing enemy forces.
inner tier ones.
Taking him out.
We have just some modular task force cruisers.
Target critical.
I have one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters on my team. Well, eventually Grand Admiral Pelion. Expect a character profile of Pelion fairly soon, because he's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, and he's just a badass. So, anyone who's still commanding from the front lines when they're 90 years old has a special place in my heart. Yeah, so that's the Eclipse. It's ridiculous. It's like everything Palpatine builds. It's just overkill. Now the other cool part of this game is there's cinematic mode that pops up.
Nowhere to go.
So you can put it in cinematic mode.
Stay in formation.
And it should cut around the battle and kind of show what's
enemy
going
forces. Taking them out.
Okay, it's not really designed for ships as big as the Eclipse.
Engaging the enemy.
Look at Pterodox.
I'm on this one.
Okay, the Crimson.
Under control. Watch him. He's coming around.
Locking on.
Returning to your position.
Well, green is just turbo laser fire, and blue is ion cannon
He's
fire.
about to be destroyed.
And I think red is laser cannon.
Where'd he go? Target
He's headed your direction.
Yeah, red is laser cannon. So.
I have them now.
Narrowing position.
I'm on them.
Eliminating target.
Yeah, so a turbo laser is like a capital ship weapon. A laser cannon is like a frigate weapon, and a blaster. Okay, so in Star Wars it goes blaster is the smallest. Think of it as kind of a small arm. Although like a heavy blaster is like a light machine gun or something like that. So it's basically think of a blaster as being a small autocannon or like a 50 caliber machine gun. Something kind of like that. A laser is like a low yield artillery weapon. Lasers can track pretty quick, so they're normally used against like the main cannon of a tank would be a laser. And most ships that aren't Imperial ships have point defense systems. And point defense systems are lasers because they fire and track faster, and you can use them against.
I can't switch position.
You can use them against fighters, which you can't for turbo lasers because turbo lasers are just too big. Which is kind of an issue a lot of the Empire ships have, is they don't have point defense cannons.
Come with me. Gun them down.
So, yeah, so how about an IRL character profile in Stalin? I was gonna do one, I just got distracted when I was working on it. So yeah, so what's interesting is the Imperial 1 actually had a point defense system. So point defenses is they'll just be small, fast-tracking laser cannons all over the ship. And the purpose of these like small laser cannons is just to shoot down starfighters, which is obviously really useful. Now what's cool is the Eclipse has a gravity well generator. So you can actually retreat any time because this is Star Wars and every ship has a hyperdrive. But the Eclipse and Interdictor class have gravity well generators that prevent jumps to light speed, which is pretty cool. So, as you can see, the battles in this game are just kind of pandemonium.
Unable to shake them. I'll take care of this.
Those are okay.
Getting a
So,
lock.
Scudam asks, what are the green points? The green points are hard points on the ship.
Closing on target.
So once you start shooting
Pursuing
at the
enemy
hull,
forces.
you can blow up the hard points. So if you blow up the engines,
Taking
the
them
ship
out.
can barely move. You can blow up the turbo lasers. You can blow up its fighter bay. And it does kind of damage to that. So like when you're fighting a
fear
superstar
no
destroyer,
one.
as you can see, there's a whole bunch of them on the Eclipse. There's
I'm
like
on them.
dozens of them. And those are MC-80 Star Cruisers. And there's Paleon in the Chimera. God, I love Paleon. Probably the next character profile I'm going to do is on Fleet Admiral Dala, who's, I'm reading the books that she appears in.
We are
And she
victorious.
is the worst Imperial commander that we know of. And I just want you to think about that for a minute. The worst Imperial commander we know of.
Reporting.
Think of all the just utterly inept,
Invasion
incompetent
commencing.
Imperial commanders. Like they're just disaster. Everyone's a disaster. Like people think Palpatine's really competent. Palpatine is really inept when it comes
Choose
to
your
like stuff like
reinforcements.
battles and things like that. Okay, so
Reinforcements
bring
en
those in.
route.
I'll bring in an
Destination
AT-AT.
set.
I'll bring in Maximilian Veer, sure.
Distance calculated.
And I'll bring in Palpatine. Palpatine
At
can do it
maximum
from the
unit
front.
What can I
capacity.
do? Can do.
Yeah, Tarkin I need to do a little more research on. I have kind of a different perspective on Tarkin. I actually view him as being really incompetent.
Has come.
I think people's view of him as a leader has been vastly overstated.
Can I help?
He's kind of just... there's a lot of very inept things about him.
Ready.
So random civilians are helping me out
At
because
your
I'm the
service.
Emperor, and... is this like crappy pathfinding? This
side
seems like
is
crappy
strong.
pathfinding. Then again, this was made, it's... Tarkin doesn't have a manifesto, it's the
Witness
Tarkin
my
Doctrine,
victory.
which is rule by fear, by absolute terror. And it really didn't work. I mean, they built the Death Star, and they blew up Alderaan. What actually happened, though, when they
ready.
blew up Alderaan is entire, like, divisions and, like, task force of the Imperial Navy defected when they blew
Reinforcements
up
en
Alderaan.
route.
It was widely regarded as, like, an atrocity by just about everybody. Because, like, it's like, oh, this one person did something, we're going to blow up the planet. Like, if they had blown up something like, say, Mon Calamari or something, that would have made a lot more sense, because Mon Calamari was actively making starships for the Rebel Alliance. So, like, that would have
Reporting.
made sense, but they opted to blow up not only a planet, but a core world, and one of the most prestigious core worlds, so... that made a lot of people angry. So we'll see if the AT-ATs can get up here, despite this game's absolutely wretched pathfinding. Yeah, this was back. I mean, pathfinding's something that's kind of unfortunately always sucked in RTSs and probably always will suck in RTSs. Who's fallen down the
We've
uncanny
located
valley?
the enemy.
Oh, here we go. They're coming to me. There we go. We've got the ATSTs doing the AT-ATs doing what they do best. Where's Palpatine? I want Palpatine to fight. You know what? I'll just send him because he's
By
good
my
enough. He can just go
will.
beat these guys by himself.
What are you waiting for? Annihilate them.
Okay.
I will allow you to witness my victory. What are you waiting for? Annihilate them.
Use Force Lightning, Palpatine. There we go.
Follow me. Follow me. Witness the true power of the dark side. Kill them. All of them.
Reporting. Moving out.
It would be cool if they could get Ian McDermott to voice act for this. No. Ian McDermott is so awesome. It's too bad he's not in more stuff. He's just I don't know, he's just a great actor. It's amazing that he played Palpatine in
Awaiting
both
orders.
movie adaptations.
Advancing.
Like that he was old enough in the...
We've secured a
I guess
landing
he was
zone.
just young under all that makeup. So yeah, the ground battles in this game I don't think are that good. It's kind of the space battles that made this, but you know. Hopefully in the next battle I'm going to be able to show you the Executor class, because Grand Admiral Kane has one, and the Executor is ridiculously overpowered. Palpatine.
We've secured a landing zone.
One of the things I really... Okay, so I was thinking about this the other day, because I was rereading the Darth Plagueis novel. So people complain about Rey being a Mary Sue. And I was thinking, is Palpatine a Mary Sue? Because Palpatine is just, like, absurdly powerful. He's super charismatic. He just kind of... He seemingly succeeds at everything he does. But the issue is, he isn't, because he has ridiculous... He has ridiculous personality flaws. Like, Endor was just sheer arrogance, that was incompetence. He utterly kind of misruled the Empire. His comeback wound up... Kind of ultimately what really screwed the Empire over was Operation Shadowhand. Because just Palpatine really recklessly used up most of the Empire's remaining resources. So... So yeah, like, also none of his super weapons work. I remember there's an amazing Han Solo quote where it's during the Vuzon Vong War, and it's like, you know what the Empire would have done if they were fighting the Vuzon Vong? They would have built some
Bombing
super
run
weapon,
available.
given it a grandiose name like the Nostril of Palpatine or something. Call it the Nostril of Palpatine or something like that. And they'd hire millions of contractors and subcontractors, spend quadrillions of credits on the latest technology, and you know what? It wouldn't have worked. Someone would have forgotten to screw down a bolt somewhere, and the whole thing would have exploded the second it got shot at. Which is funny, because it's completely true. So one of the cool things in this game is you can call in bombers. So I just called in my type bombers from orbit.
Target locked.
There we go. And my TIE bombers came in and saturation bombed the area. So that's pretty cool. So I'm thinking, like, who else is a Mary Sue? Because there's a lot of Mary Sues in Star Wars. Luke isn't a Mary Sue, because he gets his ass kicked a lot. Like, Luke gets his ass kicked a lot. Darth Vader beats the crap out of him. His powers are explained. Luke is the son of the Chosen One, the most powerful Force user to ever exist. Also, he got trained by, well, to a certain extent, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, two of the greatest Jedi who have ever lived. And he spent like decades kind of mastering the secrets of the Force. Also, he has a personality. I think to be a Mary Sue, you have to have no personality. Another person who I think is actually Mary Sue is Mara Jade, who's super annoying. I had forgotten just how annoying she is. It's, oh. I was reading some of the books. She is just unbearable. So she's a Mary Sue. Revan's a Mary Sue, but Revan is a video game player character. And all video game player characters are Mary Sues. Because they don't really have a personality. The personality is what you make of them.
System conquered.
Go. I get Kuet drive yards. So that's really important. Okay. Because I can build, I think, Super Star Destroyers there. Okay, here we go. So, now we're going to see an Executor class Star Dreadnought. The most ridiculously overpowered ship in this game. As you may have noticed, there's certain terms I just like saying. Star Dreadnought is one of them. Operation Shadowhand is another of them. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So this is the Reaper. So it's an Executor class. Oh yeah, so kind of cool story, or kind of cool thing.
Star Destroyer standing by.
The reason why Star Destroyers are shaped this way, it's not. There's actually a very practical reason for it. Let me see. Is there a way to free cam in this game? Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's look at a Star Destroyer from the front. So so you can see the reason they're shaped like daggers is when facing something, every cannon on this Star Destroyer can fire. So like, yeah, as you can see, they all are fixed forward. So you got all these there, those can fire, those guns up there can fire, those can fire. So it's a very efficient design for that purpose. The other nice thing about being dagger shaped is all the guns on either side can not only fire forward, but they can also fire on the sides. So it may look a little impractical for kind of ground battles, but for space, it makes a lot of sense. The problem is, as is pointed out in the chat, they don't have rear defenses. But that's kind of what starfighters are for. And what, oh, they actually have this in the game? They have those are octuple turbo laser batteries. So... wait till the Eclipse, so the Executor class actually has more guns than the Eclipse, it just doesn't have a super laser. One of the things I really like about the Empire is minimalism was kind of a fascist art movement. Initially, kind of industrial minimalism. If you look at like stuff the Nazis and kind of other fascist movements made, a lot of it was very much a... I wonder if oval shaped spaceships are the best design now. You see how the rebel space... I always forget people can't see my hands when I'm doing this. Rebel spaceships, Mon Calamari cruisers, look like they have a bunch of bubbles, That's made for the same reason, so that more of their guns can fire at the same time. We're just used to, like, 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional instead of 4-dimensional spaceships, so...
Star Destroyer reporting in.
So it's interesting, because in Darth Plagueis, Palpatine really hates traditional art. When he's asked about it by Plagueis,
moving to coordinates.
He says, I prefer minimalism. I don't really like traditional art. Which is very true, because most of the stuff the Empire does is huge in scale, but very minimalistic and gray and industrial looking.
Intercepting. Engaging the enemy. I'm on this one.
Come on, you can start firing soon.
Shield's almost gone. Under control. Watch him. He's coming around. Returning to your position.
So we have the TIE Interceptor. So the TIE Interceptor was kind of interesting, because the TIE Interceptor didn't have...
Taking fire.
It didn't have shields. So instead of doing shields, they put a whole bunch more cannons on it, and they made it a lot faster and more maneuverable.
Cover me now.
So the New Republic doesn't really have much here.
Enemy forces.
A Super Star Destroyer is built to take out an entire ship by itself.
Go after them. Nowhere to go. Engaging the enemy.
Palpatine liked minimalism because he was a fascist, and fascism is equal parts modernism and traditionalism.
I got him.
It's very hierarchical and ordered, but it also very much has a focus on breaking with the past and creating something entirely new. So that is what a Super Star Destroyer looks like when it's firing. Now, as you can see, it doesn't really seem to be looking like much. Now, the problem with Super Star Destroyers is, in theory, they should be able to basically just destroy everything, but because of the plot, pretty much every Super Star Destroyer in canon got blown up due to bullshit.
I got one.
So let's see how fast this Dreadnought heavy cruiser gets destroyed by my executive.
I've got them in my sights.
Gun them down.
Yeah.
Engaging the enemy.
Coming back around.
Cover me now. Unable
now,
to
what's
shake
interesting is Dala had a Super Star Destroyer called Nighthammer.
I'm on this one.
And Nighthammer was a stealth Super Star Destroyer. Some lunatic got enough money together to put stealth plating and a stealth generator on a Super Star Destroyer.
He's coming around.
Which is insane, and she lost it as she lost all 3 of her Super Star Destroyers in the first battle due to bullshit.
Let's finish him.
Which is pretty much everything Dala's ever touched.
Watch for enemy ships. Returning to your position. I'll take care of this. Getting a lock.
Enemies in range.
Closing on target.
Locked. Eliminating target.
Pursuing enemy
If you're
forces.
playing as the Pentastar alignment, the Pentastar alignment starts out with 2 Super Star Destroyers, which makes it just absurdly good.
Our shields are down.
Taking fire.
Taking fire.
Taking them out.
Got them in my sights. Coming back around.
Engaging
They've
the
destroyed our ion cannons.
Commander, they're hitting us.
Our launch bay has been
Intercepting.
destroyed.
We won't be around much
Retreat
longer.
aborted.
The other thing ion cannons I think were used for is I think they do more damage to shields than lasers do. So I think ion cannons will go through shields and will disable what's underneath it. So
Invasion commencing. Unit destroyed.
okay, I actually didn't take too many
System
losses.
control achieved.
Okay, system control has been achieved, and let's move on to the
Tactical
next
battle imminent.
Oh. Oh, okay, cool. I normally don't really care too much about using frigates. Star Destroyers are designed to basically be self-sufficient. The only problem they have is that their fighters suck. Other than that, though, they're good. So if you have heroes in this game, the heroes will auto-deploy.
Choose your reinforcements.
But otherwise, you
Fall
can
out.
pick the ships
Let's
you
move
pull
out.
in. So I'm going to bring in 3
Let's go.
Imperial class Star Destroyers and a couple
Moving to destination.
carriers.
We're heading out. Location confirmed. Orders received.
Reinforcements canceled.
Awaiting your orders. Awaiting
My
your
one
command.
complaint about this game is that
Your
fighters
command,
are not as good as they are in the novels and stuff.
Moving to coordinates.
But fighters are overly good in the
Order
novels and
confirmed.
stuff because they romanticize them.
Commander. Reporting in. Roger that.
So
Engaging the enemy.
I have a
Your
interdictor,
orders.
so if I turn this on,
Gravity well generators
it
online.
prevents the enemies from fleeing. So, kind of an interesting difference between the Imperial 1 and the Imperial 2 is the Imperial 1 was a lot had fewer
Destroyer
fewer
here.
guns and less armor and less shields, but it had a point defense weapon, and it also had a what's the other? It has a point defense weapon. It has a point defense system, which is kind of in a lot of ways more important than a And I'm just making sure I'm streaming on Twitch as well. Are there any other crap besides imps and rebels? There is there's Thrawn, there's Chiss stuff for for the Thrawn's Empire of the Hand. There's also some they're gonna add in. They might add the Uzan Vong in at some point in time. I'm not sure, but the different ones have slightly different abilities. One second, I'm just making sure that the stream's working okay. Black Sun was in the original, but what's interesting is they actually took it off. Why is this not working? Wrong keyframe article. What? Give me a second. This just seems to be having trouble. Keyframe interval. I'm just okay. So Restream's just having trouble with. They took out Black Sun because Black Sun was just kind of a little silly. Let me see. How do I change keyframes? Does anyone know how to change keyframes? Post an email on this web page this web zone if you know how to change keyframes. Okay, open OBS Studio, settings, output. Okay, what do I do under output? I don't see a okay, streaming. Where's keyframes? Enable advanced encoder settings.
Did they remove that from OBS in this version? I don't see how to change it. Okay, there's a box. Sorry guys, it's bug streaming mechanics. I don't understand like why they remove stuff. It's always something that irritates me is when stuff gets taken out. Like it's in an earlier version of something, but for whatever reason they decide that, like, Facebook is infamous for that. At least in my view, it's infamous for that. They just constantly remove things. There's no need to remove stuff, but they just do it anyways. Let's see. Keyframe interval. Okay, settings. Output mode simple. Okay, give me a second. I'm just gonna stop. Hopefully fix that. Okay. Let me just see here. Okay, let me see if the stream is still working. Unable to connect. Why is this not working? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out why it's not letting me connect now. Could you explain to me why it's not working? Fuck me. Bug screaming mechanics, indeed. Anyways, I guess I'll have to try to figure this out. I don't know like why it just stopped all of a sudden. Oh, I see what it is. Okay. It had auto set my... Okay, it auto set my bit rate like higher than what's allowed by bitrate services. Oh, nothing I can do. It is what it is, but I digress. Okay. Let's see here. Stop and restart. Okay, why is this not working? I don't understand why it's having so much trouble. Does Twitch just not let you stream or something? I don't know. This is quality content right here. This is only the highest. Please restart your broadcasting software to apply the changes. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Let's see, is this live again? Okay, am I live on Twitch again? It is what it is, nothing I can do. But I fucking digress. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, just getting it set up is always an interesting experience. Getting set up on a new computer. What the fuck is wrong with Twitch? Okay, anyways. I'll just finish this stream.
I'm on this one.
I think I'll just end it after this.
Copy.
And I'll try to
Coming
figure out
around.
why this is having so much trouble.
Target critical. Under control. Watch him. He's coming around. I got him.
So we go,
Returning
we
to
got
your
the
position.
ties moving out.
He's about to be destroyed.
Excellent shot.
He's
I
headed
got
your
one.
direction. I'll take care of this.
Locking on.
Getting a lock. Narrowing position. Closing on target.
Enemies in range.
Engines are
I'll make
malfunctioning.
sure to cut this stuff out. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This is just this
Go
is
after
sad,
them.
but
Pursuing enemy forces.
Getting a lock.
Regroup.
that's what happens when
Okay,
you try to
taking
do
them out.
something a little
Engaging the
different.
enemy.
I'm on them.
I copy.
And I think
Target.
what I've learned from this
Reporting.
is
Formation.
Move in.
Star
Never
Destroyer
try.
standing by.
Where'd he
My
go?
scopes are jammed.
Star Destroyer reporting in.
Tightening up.
Heading to
Where are
destination.
the others?
yeah. So I mean, the
I'm
Imperial
on this
2
one.
is a really good
Target lost.
battleship.
Gone.
It just, like I said, it just performs
Know
like
where to
crap
run.
because the Empire are the
Cover me
bad
now.
guys.
out of
Under
formation.
control.
It really like should be
Stop.
doing a
Get
good
behind
job,
them.
but
I
Let's
have them
finish him.
now. Eliminating target.
Watch him. He's coming around. Returning to your position. Watch for enemy ships.
I'm
I'll
on
take
them.
care of this.
I think
Watch
the
your back.
nickname of it was the
Yes,
Imp Star
go after them.
Deuce.
Coming
Yeah, the
around.
Imp Star Deuce is the nickname they gave
Getting
to
a
the
lock.
Imperial
Draw
Star
their
Destroyers
fire.
too.
Awaiting
Got
orders.
them in my
Closing on target.
They were still
formation.
using it by the
Coming back around.
time of the
Intercepting.
Legacy era,
Go
a
after
couple
the
hundred
stragglers.
years, like 100 years in the future, after the end of,
Getting a lock.
after the Battle of
For
Endor.
another attack.
Losing
Intercepting.
power. Losing
I'm on
control.
them. Excellent shot.
I can't switch position.
They're coming.
He won't be around much longer.
I got
Pursuing enemy forces.
one. Stay in formation. Get behind them.
Target critical.
Locking on.
There we go. We have some TIE fighters fighting
Taking
enemies in
wings.
range.
That's cool.
I have them now.
Regroup.
I'm on
Engaging the enemy.
As much as I love this game, I can't
I'm on
really
this one.
play it for more than like an hour and a
Taking
half at a
fire.
time.
Target lock.
Just because it is a little repetitive.
Under control.
It
Watch
depends
him.
on the
He's coming around.
campaign. Some
Target's about to be
campaigns are
destroyed.
better
Gun them down.
Commander,
than
they're hitting
others.
us.
This one's not bad.
He's
The
headed
Empire
your
just starts
direction.
off kind of overpowered.
I'm hit.
I should play a game where you're
Where'd
the
he go?
Republic. But yeah, if you look at it,
Returning to your position.
this thing is built so it can fire most of its cannons at once. It's a
I've got it.
weird but very efficient
Awaiting your
design.
orders.
Uh-oh.
Awaiting your
I'm
command.
gonna lose a Star Destroyer.
Falling
We're
out of
moving out.
formation. Excellent shot.
Narrowing position.
Draw their fire.
I'll take care of this. Tightening up.
That would be
Attack
bad.
formation.
Let's finish
Our
him.
primary engine system is down.
Watch your back.
Our shields are down. Your command, sir.
Getting
Yeah,
a
I'm
lock.
gonna lose that Star
Intercepting.
Destroyer.
Closing on target.
Oh, well, that was, it is what it is.
Pursuing enemy forces.
I've got them in my sights. Coming back around.
Our
for
launch
another
bay
round.
is
Taking
gone.
them out.
Yep.
Go
We've
after
lost the iron
stragglers.
cannons.
Getting
Our
engaging
lasers
the
are
enemy.
destroyed.
Intercepting.
He won't be around much longer.
I'm on them. Locking
I'm on
on.
this one.
Enemies in range.
Although that was only an imp one I lost.
Under
Stay in
control.
I
formation.
still have a bunch more.
Watch him. He's coming around. Returning to your
And
position.
MC90s are basically their equivalent to Imperial 2. So they're going to lose a lot more than I do in this
I'll
battle.
take care of this.
Yeah, bombers are just not very
Getting
good in this
locked.
game, which is kind of...
Closing on
Sad.
target.
I like bombers.
Pursuing enemy forces.
Yeah, the TIE bomber is not very good in general. Why you would make a heavy bomber with no shielding, I don't know. But as with everything the Empire does, they just, I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'm on this one. Taking fire. I got him. Under control. Watch him. He's coming around.
There's an MC-90.
Returning to your position. Coming around.
Full speed. Reporting in.
I'll take care of this.
We've got them on
It's about to
scope.
be destroyed. Getting a lock.
Okay.
He's headed your direction.
Roger that.
I'll turn around.
Move out.
Laser cannons. So yeah. Now these do have tractor beam projectors, but they don't really do anything,
on target.
to be perfectly honest. At least I've never found that they do anything.
Form up.
I think they can hold small ships in position, but
enemy
they
forces.
can't hold
Narrowing position.
capital ships still.
I've been hit.
Destroyer here.
Around for another run.
Taking him out.
I got one.
Tightening up. Let's finish him.
Copy.
I've got him. Watch your back.
And yeah,
Locking on.
Mon Calamaris
Getting
have
a lock.
really good shields. It's kind of, they're the counterpart of the Imperial ships. So Imperial ships have really good firepower, and Mon Calamari ships have really good shields.
Intercepting. Enemies are good. Intercepting.
Taking Coruscant
around
is
much
always
longer.
a challenge in this game.
I'm on them. Taking fire. Commander, they're hitting us.
Attack commencing.
Stay in formation.
And we'll just finish that off. It's cool to see so many. The Victory classes are really good too.
Get behind
They're a little faster. They're just, the
Engaging
Victory
the
class
enemy.
is a very versatile ship. The Imperial class is pretty
critical.
versatile too. I mean, it's the nice thing about one of them is with like all of its the onboard troops and fighters and stuff, it can lock down an entire system by itself.
Coming around. Target locked.
I've got them in my sights. Coming back around for another run.
The enemy has been defeated.
So let's look at what the casualties are. So I lost one Star Destroyer and they lost 2 capital ships. So that's probably pretty good. So if you guys want, I'll play more Empire at War and I'll talk about some other stuff, maybe a different campaign. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.